I'm Anil Kumar, sharing with you some test questions on absolute functions. The question here is, write an absolute function inequality with following solution. So I'll create one. So let's say this is our number line, right? And on this number line, I will write down an solution of an inequality which you need to write in the form of absolute function. So what I've done here is created, I'll be doing two for you, right? So let me just divide this page into two. So we'll have on this number line, we'll have two kinds of inequalities. One we'll have with greater than. Let us say this is the one that is greater than, and in one we'll say within a limit. Let's fill in these circles. Okay, so let's say these are the inequalities. Let me write down the numbers here. Let us say this is minus 3 and this is 3. Now that green arrow indicates a solution to your absolute inequality. You have to write a function, rather inequality, whose solution is as given on this number line. So let this be A, and part B is kind of difficult. I will not keep these numbers same, that makes the things very simple, but in this case I'll keep this minus 3. However, let me write this as 7, right? And I want within this minus 3 and 7 interval, let that be the solution of a absolute function inequality which you need to write. You can pause the video, answer the question, and then look into my suggestions. Now this solution, which is beyond plus and minus 3, could be written as absolute x greater than 3. Very simple, right? So if you have an absolute function, absolute x greater than 3, its solution on a number line can be represented as shown here. Simple as that, right? So somewhere here we have 0, and that is the absolute function, and that's the solution. Now that is clear to you. This one is kind of difficult. I would like you to answer this question. That's the main question for this particular video. Now let us see how to answer such a question. Now to write this as absolute function, what we should do is we should find the midpoint first. So let's find the midpoint. Midpoint of minus 3 and 7 is minus 3 plus 7 divided by 2, which is 4 divided by 2, or 2, right? So the midpoint of this has a value 2 on it. Now once you find the midpoint, then you have to see how far are the extremes from 2. That is, how far is 7 from 2 and how far is 3 from 2. They have to be same distance away. This is the midpoint, right? So we find that this is like 5 units away, right? So from 2, 5 units on each side gives us our boundary conditions. Now, so what we can say is that minus 3 and 7 are 5 units away. 5 units away. Now, does that give you an idea of absolute function? Now, can you pause down the video and answer the question? Can you write this as an absolute function? That's the question, right? Well, it could be written as x. So the absolute function is translated horizontally to this position 2, so it will be x minus 2, and this absolute value is within 5 units, right? Now since these are filled in holes, we'll have less than equal to 5. You get an idea, right? So the absolute function, absolute x minus 2, less than equal to 5, will be represented on a number line as shown here, right? So that is how you actually do it. Now here's a practice question for you. So let me make another number line. Let us say this is the number line. I would have preferred it to be in blue, but that's okay. And I'll give you a similar question just for practice. And this time I'll keep these brackets moving outside, right? So let's just say it's outside. And let us say that these 2 points here are, let's say, -5 and let's say 4, right? You need to write this as an absolute function, okay? So write as an absolute function whose solution is this, right? So let this be your test question, right? I hope that helps. I'm Anil Kumar. You can always subscribe to my videos and share them. Thank you and all the best.